Before we get this show started, I would like to remind you all that The Legend of Vox Machina is premiering tomorrow. To all you Vox Machina fans out there that listen to this show, and I know you're out there, I have this to ask. What are you doing listening to this show? Go home, get some sleep, go to bed. Then you can watch Vox Machina with me later on. Oh, I don't have a Twitch channel or anything like that. I'm just going to be watching it with you guys at a certain point of time and at a certain point of day. I will be watching with you and cheering on, but I won't be there watching live because I don't have a Twitch. More's the pity. But for those of you who still want to listen to this guy read stories, let's present Trixie getting back our host, Chapter 9, Part 1, Making Amends. Checker walked off into the night, leaving Helping Hoof and the Diamond Dogs to pick their own devices for the time being. After a few moments of silence, Fido looked at Helping Hoof. "How Pony know scary magic?" asked Fido, stuttering. "You mean her dream infiltration spell?" asked Helping Hoof, looking at the Diamond Dog. Rover nodded uneasily. "I don't know much about ponies, but I know they never see a pony do that." Helping Hoof sighed, looking rather sad. "Well, I don't know where she learned the spell from, but I do know where she learned half of her method. She learned to control demons from her grandmother, Helena Midsummer, just like Trixie has." "Why?" asked Spot, scratching his head. "Helena's trick is meant to let one control their dreams, not the dreams of others," explained Helping Hoof. "She taught Checker for the same reason she taught Trixie, to deal with nightmares." Rover blinked. "Scary pony have nightmares?" Helping Hoof gave a sad chuckle. I just realized this whole entire thing about Helena makes a lot more sense when you think about it in the context of the show. Luna had been disappearing and gone for ages, so of course ponies would figure out a way to deal with nightmares. It would just be a hidden skill. Some pony like her would. But don't forget, she's still a flesh and blood pony. She is? Guys, I was reading some of the comments for this fic on FimFiction, and I finally come to the conclusion about why Checker Monarch, to me, is high in my ranks of fanfic villains. Micah's villains are cartoony. We'll never meet them. You'll never see somebody like those guys out there in a cold, dark audience, because they're over the top. We'll never meet a Conquest. Lord, I hope so. I hope not. But Checker? Godzilla Wolf mentioned it himself. He based Checker off of real-life sociopaths. People like Checker exist. They're out there. And that to me is scarier than any real villain. As for why she learned the spell, imagine what it'd be like to have complete control over your dreams. To control that realm of the thought. Checker is a mare who decides one thing above all others. Power. That desire is not in itself a bad thing, but it's why she became the way she is. She threw away everything she saw as an obstacle to attaining her desire, so she became the mare you know now. She desires power even more than you three desire gems. The three Diamond Dogs looked shocked. "And Diamond Dogs want all the gems," Rover replied. "And Checker wants all the power she can get, and then some. I suppose the strong rule the weak mentality her father taught her and Trixie worked too well in Checker's case," explained Helping Hoof, looking rather disturbed. "She's one of the most powerful ponies in Manhattan, but even that isn't enough. Her fortune is her power. Her social status is power. And being the boss of her own company, one of Equestria's largest corporations, is power. But none of it is enough. Just like having absolute power over the world of her dreams wasn't enough for her. So she found a spell to extend that power to the dreams of others. he continued, looking somewhat scared. Of all kinds of power Checker has, the kind she covets the most is power over others. After all, she believes the strong has the right to control the weak. And that kind of power is exactly what her dream infiltration spells let her have. Because once she takes control over their dreams, they are at her mercy. And if they don't know the same trick her grandmother taught her, there's nothing they can do about it until they wake up. Sometimes that can protect them. The diamond dog shivered, now even more afraid of this power than the mare possessed. This is one of the many tools that Checker Monarch has to maintain the power over others that she craves so much, and is constantly learning more, because she can never have enough. He explained, not seeming hateful. He sounded as if he had described was something to be pitied instead of hated. The diamond dogs looked at each other in confusion. Why Pony sad? Oh, I'm just thinking. I'm not going to pretend Checker has a heart. When she had to choose between it and her lust of power, she chose her lust for power. I imagine if he ever had a heart, Discord did the same thing with his when it came to his games. All four shuddered, each with different memories of that day. It's just, sometimes I wonder if someone who's traded away their heart could ever truly be happy. Anyway, that's personal feelings, on to the point. I think that's why she hates her sister so much, said the unicorn stallion, looking over towards the library. She's jealous of her sister. But I think that's just the reason. It's Trixie. Probably how it started. Not the sole reason she does it now. Trixie being the one being that Checker has been able to maintain power almost her entire life. Since that poor mare was a foal. Checker's been controlling her life like a puppeteer every chance she got, he revealed, looking as if he were recounting something from a memory instead of second huff. The only way Trixie was able to cut her strings and live the life she wanted for herself was by leaving home and taking a profession that let her wander Equestria. And I think Trixie was able to do that anyway with Checker every day. The chess piece she's been using since she was a filly had escaped her clutches, and now she's got the chance to regain control over Trixie's life. I'm afraid of what she might do. Overly terrified. That's scary. Indeed it is, said Helping Hoof. I think Checker could bear it because she still had power over Trixie in a way. Trixie was still following the ideas Checker had indoctrinated in her. She was still the Trixie Checker had done her best to mold her into. Now Trixie's starting to break free of that, and that's something Checker's unable to bear. Helping Hoof sighed, suddenly looking like a beaten dog. And I think another way she handled it was originally by finding a chess piece to replace over the one she lost. The diamond dogs looked at each other. Who is that? Rubber asked. Helping Hoof briefly looked at his cue mark sadly. I don't want to talk about it, he said, looking remorseful. Just be glad when all is said and done, you stop being part of our game. That sentence sent a chill down the three dogs' spines. Trixie, come on, get up, said Twilight, trying to rise Trixie from her bed. Trixie slowly got up, looking down miserably. Trixie is up. Trixie, I know you're hurt, but you can't just lay around and pout. That won't solve anything, Twilight said, teleporting up and putting a hoof on her shoulder. Trixie sighed. Trixie has not given up, Twilight. Trixie just wonders if this will actually work. Twilight gave her a reassuring smile as he commands. You'll never know if you don't try. Trixie couldn't help smiling herself. Alright, your smile is rather contagious. Where is Trixie's first day at the community service? At the Cutie Marker Share School. You'll be trimming some trees, Twilight explained, trying to sound reassuring. Trixie gave a sigh of relief. At least it's near ponies Trixie knows don't hate her. It is likely the two that helped ruin her life, the mayor replied, the less patted and deadpan voice. Trixie, you can't scare the horse apples out of snips and snails. Fine. And what about the teacher? Miss Shirley? She won't hold a grudge on you, said Twilight, sounding fairly positive. Yeah, because in another dimension, that's your best friend. How can you be so sure? Because Cutie Crusaders gave her and Applejack's brother the Hearts and Hope Day love potion, and once in a well-intentioned but ultimately disastrous attempt to make Big Macintosh Shirley's special sun pony. And she... We apologize, But martial art user needs to remember that sometimes his fanon ships won't always match with canon, so sometimes he needs to stop bragging about it and remember that fanon is fanon for a reason.
Fanon! Let me go!
Oh, growly, what you gonna do to punish me, oh druid? Kiva, liquor. Kiva? No, don't Kiva, back out! I gotta take my wolf out for a walk once in a while. Trixie blinked. What fool gave 3 fillies that recipe? Twilight blessed. I kinda gave them that book. She replied, getting a incredulous look from Trixie. I didn't expect them to actually use it! All you need to do is trim the tree limbs that are too flimsy to survive a storm, Trixie, said Shirley, giving a kind smile. Do you understand? Trixie nodded, looking down at the gardening tools made for earth pony use, but her magic could do just as well. She told the others to go about their business. She didn't want ponies to give them grief because of her, or someone to accuse her of having help. Not that she'd take it anyway. Trixie believes she understands. Thank you for giving Trixie a chance. Shirley nodded with a smile. You're welcome, Trixie. When you're a teacher, you learn to give others a second chances. How else are students going to learn? Trixie smiles lightly. Thank you. Shirley nodded. All right, well, I wish you luck, she said, drawing out to prepare for her classes. Trixie picked up tree trimmers for her telekinesis and prepared to begin when someone tapped her on the shoulder. Hello. The white unicorn mare with blonde mane and tail was standing right behind her. She wore sunglasses over her eyes, but her face still looked rather angry. You're Trixie, right? The mare asked, in a rather high-pitched voice with a sharp quality onto it. Yes, that is correct, Trixie replied, cocking an eyebrow. The voice sounded familiar. There was just some quality in it that rung a bell. She peeked over her flank to see a cutie mark of a starburst. What do you want? Not that I like you or anything, said the mare, reminding Trixie of some mares she had seen at the mall. But the closer she got, the more familiar the mare seemed, but she couldn't put her hoof on it. The mare got closer. But here at Ponyville, we have a rule. Unicorns doing a public service for crime can't use magic. You gotta do it the Earth Pony way around here. Trixie gave a frustrated sigh. Really? Really, and I mean it. You could get in big trouble, said the mare with a sharp air to it. Trixie groaned. Fine, Trixie won't use her magic, said the unicorn, biting down on the mouthpiece she used to operate the device by biting down to close the tires. Good, you better, said the mare, turning away and walking, but not before looking back with a cold smirk once Trixie's back was turned. So, is Trixie really out there? Said Snips, peeking over the mare as the foals were out in the playground before class. They blinked a flash of Fairway's camera. It was as usual, simply photographing anything that interested him. He noticed Dinky and Pipsqueak talking, occasionally giving glances in Trixie's direction. Okay, replied the Apple Bloom, looking uncertain. But you might well not talk to her right now. Why? Asked Snails, blinking as he looked over. Yeah, we just want to thank you for inspiring our magic act, Snips replied, looking baffled. Well, it's, Sleebell started, rubbing hair. Kinda. Took her story seriously, caused the accident that ruined her life, says Gulu, being the blunt one. Well, so you might it's her fault for lying in the first place, so you might still hold a grudge on you, said Applewood, rubbing her head. I'll wait for things to tail down, but... Oh yeah, said Snips, both him and Snails looking a bit guilty. Look, I'm sure she'll forgive you, says Gulu. She just needs time, and she's going through a lot right now. The two colts looked at each other, then to Trixie. The mare that Trixie had spoke with walked up to Helping Hoof. I know there was a reason I kept you around, helping Huff, said the mayor in Checker's voice. The stallion glowed yellow as he broke the illusion spell on the mare, reverting her to Checker, though her maid remained down. The spell fell off if it was a costume. It was a clear spell, hadn't changed her body shape much at all. Though, of course, the focal change was all mine. No wonder Trixie could work in show business. There's nothing to it. Where did you learn that spell again? Helping Huff went down, having a rather miserable look. When I was trying to work at a theater as a cult. Oh yes, how could I forget? I remember how much you cried when your father pulled you out. A pity, really. You were quite good at it, Checker said with her usual cold tone, despite what she said, making Helping Huff lower his head almost to the ground. It's quite useful, even if it can't change certain traits. It's only good for quick moments before they catch on, she said, rearranging her mane back to the proper style. Dizzy reached back behind her and pulled off the sticker of a starburst on a white backdrop from where her flank covered her cutie mark with her teeth. Thank you for giving me such a lovely excuse to buy these in bulk. Helping Huff cringed. What do you say when someone thanks you? You're welcome, Miss Monarch. Good boy, said Checker, giving an icy smirk. She then turned to look out at Trixie, who struggled to use the trimmers from her mouth. Oh, Trixie, you've always been easy to fool, she said, giving a cold smirk. What we do? Asked Rover, looking up at the mare, now terrified of her than after Heavy Host's story. Simple, said Checker in a calm, cold tone. She took out her chessboard, looking it over. We follow her. She closed the locket shut with a resounding snap, and humiliate her. She finished, her tone as detached as could be. Trixie cut off several tree limbs that had gone too long. It was hard going, her mouth hurt. Elisa was making progress. Hello? Trixie turned to see a little gray purple unicorn filly with a yellow mane and golden eyes. Next to her was a white earth coat pony with brown mane and spots, over one to his left eye. Trixie sat down to clippers gently. Hello, filly get cult. The filly replied. Fanfic, I beg you, mercy! Mercy! An odd pip's click, the cult chimed in. Trixie instantly recognized a Tringham accent. Dinky and Pipsqueak, said Trixie, finding the names interesting. She noticed both foals were white flanks. She held the poor things were bullied for that reason. Those are interesting names. Thanks, said the little filly, seeming quite cheerful. You're Trixie, right? Yes, Trixie replied, slightly confused. My mama said you did something really bad, said Dinky. Before Trixie could cringe, the child gave a smile. But she said you felt bad about it. Trixie blinked. Yes, Trixie feels terrible for what she did. Trixie didn't want to hurt anyone. Pipsqueak prepared to reply, but then blinked. Oh, pardon. You have a bee on your head. Huh? Trixie looked. Looking to see a bee had landed on her horn. She looked further, just in time for a beehive to land on her head. Predictably, Trixie screamed as she was stung, as did Pinky and Pipsqueak. Trixie ran around, taking the bees with her, right to the playground. Spot climbed down from the tree, looking to Checker. Well done, Checker said. I knew I was doing the smart thing when I trusted you with that job. She stayed, handing the diamond dog some gems, before watching the chaos the beehive stuck on Trixie's head caused as the pack mare ran around. This is just the opening act. You know, Checker, I know this is a fic and all, you can't see this, but I am double birding you. Nope. I'm giving you the quadruple bird over here. Honestly, it's amazing Trixie how he's able to do that with hooves. Big Beast magic hand tricks. Big Beast magic hand. Trixie cringed. The beast stayed still hurting as he carefully held a stick in her mouth as he used to pick the trash off the streets of Ponyville. She was grateful she wasn't allergic. At least Terry wasn't mad at Trixie. She muttered with a miserable sigh. A stallion threw a candy wrapper at her hooves, glaring at her as he passed. She gave another sigh. That's the 6th time. Checker watched from the shadows of a nearby alley with her group, her chest pointing out. About 15 ponies on her side, only Trixie on hers. All the pawns moving just as I planned, she said, giving an icy grin. Helping Hoof was surprised. But how could you have expected that? Checker nonchalantly handed Helping Hoof the list he had given her before. I was Oh my god. Sorry, slip up. I was rather busy last night. Helping Hoof blinked, then his eyes widened in horror. The Diamond Dogs reacted much the same when it hit them what happened. You gave those ponies nightmares? What else do you suppose I was doing last night? Checker asked, not seeming to notice his horror or caring. But those were innocent ponies who had been hurt by the Ursa! I thought you were going to just pass out flyers to them! Checker turned slowly and narrowed her eyes with a glare. Helping Hoof began shaking in his hooves, but couldn't look away. Is that a problem, Helping Hoof? She asked, stepping towards him, glaring more intensely, making Helping Hoof break out in a cold sweat. But her tone was conversational, almost friendly. If it is, I can always fire you. I mean, sure, I'd have you blacklisted, but at least you still have your morals. Not that I need to blacklist a worthless... No, Miss Monarch. There's no problem. None at all, interrupted Helping Hoof, still unable to break Checker Monarch's terrifying gaze. It's like he was memorized. Checker gave a cold smirk and turned away. I thought so. Helping Hoof panted in terror, sinking to his flanks. Checker watched as the 8th pony threw a wrapper at Trixie's hooves. Without changing her expression, she telekinetically stretched the trash shell bags that Trixie was wearing, slowly to not attract attention, until finally the weight of the garbage inside caused it to rupture, and spilled their contents everywhere and on and around Trixie. Skulu groaned, looking at her bee stings. Due to half the class being stung by bees, Tierley had postponed the class until she could make sure none of them were allergic. A deadly bee weapon. Bees, my god. It was her job, after all, to make sure that none of her students got hurt. Well, that stunk, the orange Pegasus stated. Or who? Asked Applebloom, not seeming as bothered by her bee stings. After all, when you lived on a farm, getting stung wasn't anything unusual. Trixie got humiliated again. Yeah, Sweetbell said, looking down. He just was thinking of Pepper saying something nice to her. P.S. I forgot to mention. Aw, the two are on a play date. So cute. School was about to say something when a hoof tapped her shoulder. She turned to see a lanky cream Pegasus colt with a brown mane and a feather for a cueing mark. Oh, hey, Featherweight, what is it? Pegasus handed him a couple of pizzas, not speaking. Pipsqueak rarely spoke. Skulu assumed he was just shy. The trio looked over the fathers. Featherweight pointed to something and wanted them. I don't... Sweetbell started. Then all three of them gasped shark. Uh-oh. Checker gave a small yawn. She looked rather frustrated. I suppose all that dream hopping last night took its toll on me. Helping Hoof gave a sigh of relief. Helping Hoof, the chair stated, causing Helping Hoof to jump. Yes, Miss Monarch. Checker looked at him, giving a cold grin. I'm going to take a nap. You are responsible for ruining Trixie's next community service attempt. Me? Asked Helping Hoof, shocked. Checker nodded. And don't try anything funny. Because if Trixie spontaneously knows I'm here, I'll know who to blame. She stated, Helping Hoof gulp. Same if I hear you didn't make a token effort at humiliating her. She continued, her voice not changing as she approached him. Am I clear? Crystal. Checker looked at the Diamond Dogs. Oh, and I wouldn't recommend any of you trying anything either. She said, her tone remained perfectly level. Because if you tell somebody I'm planning to ruin a mayor's life, what do you think they're going to believe? The big, powerful mayor from Manhattan, or the filthy subterranean canines who have a history of pony napping? Wherever a company gulped, giving a nod of understanding. Checker nodded, walking away before looking back. Oh, just I'm a very light sleeper. So if you had any fantasies about kidnapping me in my sleep, you could forget it. And remember what I said I'd do if you double-crossed me. A rather filthy, base-stung, miserable-looking Trixie stood with a paintbrush in her teeth on a ladder, leaning against the house of a purple-furred mare named Barry Punts, painting the side of the house white. Shirley had set it up. Apparently, she was Barry Punts' elder sister, and Barry Punts' house had been damaged by a love-poisoned Big Magachos, pulling several blocks and then dragged backwards. Helping Huff went down to bust at Trixie, gulping. Maybe I should just... He started, looking truly conflicting, sweating. No, if Checker finds out... He muttered. He looked back up, seeing Rainbow Dash clearing clouds over Ponyville. He gasped slightly to look at Trixie. Helping Hoof telekinetically gripped the ladder. I'm sorry, he said, tears in his eyes as he rattled the ladder. Trixie let out a scream as she lost her balance suddenly. Huh? Asked Rainbow Dash, hearing the screaming. She looked down in time to see Trixie lose her balance and begin to fall. Trixie! She yelled, taking off at full speed, adrenaline rushing. Trixie fell, Rainbow Dash flying right after her and catching her. Rainbow curved downwards, flew a few feet to slow down, not wanting to give Trixie whiplash. Rainbow Dash set Trixie down. Are you alright? She asked, genuine concern on her face. Trixie panted, trembling in fear, looking more miserable than ever. Trixie! Trixie remained composed and failed. Thank you, Rainbow Dash. Trixie needs some alone time. The mare muttered, lowering her head and slowly trotting towards the library. Rainbow Dash swore she saw the mare's colors dim slightly. Trixie. Rainbow Dash sputtered, rubbing her head. Serves her right, said a pink mare in a street corner. Rainbow Dash was in her face in a second, glaring daggers at her. Don't you ever say that again! The mare staggered back, then glared back. That Ursa cursed my cart. I had to work for overtime for a month to pay it off. Rainbow's eyes softened lightly. And that makes it right for her to get hurt when all she wants to do is make up for what she did? Asked Rainbow Sterling, but not yelling. Hey! Rainbow! There's some people on a certain forum that really hate Starlight's Redemption. Care to go after them? With pleasure. The mayor looked uncertain. Well, I doesn't think about it. The mayor looked conflicted. Rainbow watched the mayor walk away to think about what she had been told. Good girl, Dashie. Where's the think about, people? Where's the think about? Then again, if Starlight's Redemption arc was anything like this fic, I think less people would complain. Before the Pegasus turned to the ladder, looking close, she saw it was firmly rooted in place. How could she have lost balance? She's not that clumsy. Rainbow Dash! Yelled Scootaloo, urgency in her tone. Oh, the mayor turned to see the three fillies and one colt run up. Hey, girls, and colt I've never seen before. This is Father White, said Appaloof. He takes places for the paper. Well, he did them immensely. They became arrogant when Diamond Tiara tried to blackmail us to say Gabby Guns. Dad traded the Chancellor to Polly Miss Shirley gave his own job to because he liked taking pictures better. Sleepbell explained, confusing herself with that explanation. Right, so what is it? Trixie needs me, asked Rainbow. That's kind of what this is about, said Scootaloo, frantically handing the Rainbow made Pegasus the two pictures. Rainbow blinked, looking at the pictures carefully. One was of Trixie talking to Dinky and Pipsqueak, and the other was the same. She didn't see anything, didn't hit her. In the second picture, she could see the beehive just above the branches, but not connected to anything. She narrowed her eyes.
Well, where are we? Yeah, that's pretty cool. Nice pictures of trees. Good job, Featherweight,
said Rainbow, suddenly, back to normal. Before the fillies could react, she winked quickly.
Hey, could you three meet me at my house later?
She asked, keeping an eye out.
I got something I'd like to show you.
Scootaloo blinked.
Sure, we'll come. Yep, we'll meet you later. It'll be our pleasure. And don't forget to have Twilight use that cloud walking spell on you.
Rainbow Dash said, giving a smile.
Now I gotta go. See you later.
Helping Hoof sighed in relief when Rainbow Dash caught Trixie. Thanks, Celestia, he said. To saw Trixie's reaction, and his face dropped. Helping Hoof headed back towards Checker, his head almost to the ground. I'm sorry, he muttered, guilt clear in his voice. Trixie, please come down, said Twilight. Trixie had returned to her bed and not moved since her fall. We want to talk to you.
Trixie doesn't want to,
said the showmare's miserable voice, sounding almost on the verge of tears.
Please leave Trixie alone, please.
Twilight sighed, walking downstairs to the rest of the group had assembled. She's not coming down, she said, worry plain in her voice.
Can you blame her?
Asked Applejack.
The poor girl's got a rough go of it, and things just ain't looking up for her.
I wish there was something we could do, said Fluttershy, considering her voice.
I tried everything! I even used puppets!
Exclaimed Pinkie, yelling with laughter, having 2 sock puppets on her hose. Arnie stares and confused for every pony. Rainbow Dash remained silent, looking like something was on her mind. Rarity looked thoughtful, thinking about it. I'll talk to her. Alone. All right, Riley replied, uncertain.
Good luck, Rarity,
said Pinkie, acting as if her puppets were saying it. Rarity blinked.
Thank you, Pinkie Pies. Puppets. And you can't do it. If the puppets didn't work, then this calls for extreme measures, exclaimed Pinkie and her puppets.
Rarity blinked. Okay, you do that. I'm going to talk to Trixie. Helping Hoof looked up at Checker as he returned. I did as you told me, Miss Monarch. Checker nodded, stretching after her nap.
Good. What did you do?
Knocked her off a ladder as she was trying to paint the house. Helping Hoof replied, remorse clear on his face. He left out the Rainbow Dash had saved her.
That brings back memories,
said Checker, giving a cold smirk.
Well done.
Trixie! Called Rarity in her typical sweet, over-the-top fashion as he entered the room.
Please come down and talk, darling.
Trixie huffed, not rising from her bed.
Trixie doesn't want to. Trixie, you know you can trust me,
Rarity replied sincerely.
Please, just tell me what's wrong.
Trixie sighed.
You're not going to leave until Trixie tells you, are you?
No, I shall not. Trixie got up, walking down to Rarity, looking like a beaten dog.
It's...
Trixie started to side, lower your head.
You wouldn't understand.
Let me guess. You got nothing, and no matter what you do, you can't seem to get down to the gutter. And no matter how hard you try, it seems like you're walking in place and doomed to fail. Rarity asked with a sympathetic smile. That's about it. Trixie blinked in surprise.
Yes. How did you...
Rarity sighed. Because believe it or not, I've been there. Rarity's jaw dropped.
But you're...
A successful fashion designer who caters to the counter-lot elite and has connections in high places? Yes, Rarity replied, a little pride in her tone. But I wasn't always like that. Trixie didn't know how to reply. The mayor had once been poor,
but Trixie assumed you were owed money.
Well, I'm not, and proud of it, said Rarity, smiling lightly. I grew up in a suburb in Manhattan. My father was out of work, and my mother had a low-end job. We barely had enough money to make our own rent a month, let alone have any luxuries. We barely had enough food to survive on. No matter how many times my father tried to get the professional hoofball career he wanted, he just never made the cut. No matter how many times my mother tried to get a raise, she was shot down, and the neighborhood bullies just loved to rub it in. But how did... Rarity smiled. Hard work. My parents kept trying until my mother got promoted at work,
and I earned my cutie mark, allowing me to find gems to help supplement it. And then finally, my father got his big break and made it count. Rarity hove on Trixie's shoulder. And I know you can't, Trixie. You're a strong girl. A weak one wouldn't have lasted a year on the streets by themselves. My circumstances may not have been as bad as yours are, but you've got more ponies to support you through it than we did. Trixie looked at Rarity in her caring eyes. You really think so? Rarity gave a nod in agreement. Yes, Trixie. You're a lot stronger than you think you are. Trixie gave a small smile. Thank you, Rarity. Trixie needed that. Whatever else a friend is for? Asked Rarity, smiling happily. Trixie did frown, clearly still having doubts. Trixie! There's someone at the door for you! Called Twilight, sounding happy. Trixie blinked. Dillich panicked. For Trixie! Is it an angry mob? Well, let's find out. Right? Mob, 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 mob. Look at this chord. It's on the cob. Look at this guy. My name is Rob. Mob, mob, mob. Angry, angry mob. I love the Angry Mob song. Trixie walked up to the door, finding Dinky and Pipsqueak waiting for her, both with some bee stings. With them was a gray, wall-eyed Pegasus with a yellow mane. Her cutie mark, Bubbles. Ladies and gentlemen, we present to you Derpy! Sorry, felt like it's been a while since he showed up in this show. That wasn't a Lucifer story. So he had a pair of mail bags hanging off of her, and a mail pony's hat on. Hello, I'm Dipsy Doo, or Derpy Hooves. I don't really mind which. Is it just me, or did Trixie just meet up with two of her friends from the Ludiverse in this story? Geez, all we need now is Raindrops, Carrot Top, and Lyra. We'll have the whole set. The mayor said with a smile. It's Ditsy. Of course she's going to do it with a smile. You already know my daughter, Dinky, and her friend Pip. Trixie gasped. Trixie is sorry. She didn't mean to get stung by bees. It's alright. I know it. I'm not mad. I know it was an accident. The Pegasus replied, good-naturedly. You just wanted me to take them over on my way home from work. Trixie blinked. You mean, you don't hate me? Derpy frowned. What? No. Why would I hate you? Remember, folks, sometimes you're just not a real pony fic until you have Trixie in it. Until you have Derpy in it. Tells you a lot about Starfleet, don't it? But the town. They booed Trixie off the stage and pelted her with rotten tomatoes. Derpy shook her head. And that was mean. I was in the front row. I heard you say you were sorry, she said. And I forgive you. If everybody forgave me for accidentally destroying City Hall, I can forgive you. Trixie blinked. Licked. Oh, what? Asked Trixie in a flat voice and raised her eyebrow. Derpy blushed in embarrassment. Well, he said he wanted me to put a rain cloud next to City Hall, but I ended up with a thundercloud by mistake. And sometimes I don't know my own strength, and I ended up accidentally destroying more with my flank. And that happens sometimes. Like that one time with the sign. Wait! The doctor told me not to tell anybody about that. No, Derpy, please go on. What happened with the Cybermen? Oh, said Trixie, still confused, but deciding to move on. I'm your mama, said Dinky rather sweetly. You're sorry and want me to go for what you did, so I'm here with you too. Pipsqueak gave a nod. That's right. Mr. Judah seemed to come big and scary when she came to Pennyville, but she turned out to be really nice. She's my favorite princess now. Trixie chuckled slightly at the child's excitement. Trixie's sure that makes her happy, she said, before giving a bewildered look at the three ponies. You really do forgive me? All three nodded. Trixie's eyes teared up. Thank you. Trixie doesn't know what to say. Trixie stayed, smiling. I'm back! Piggy shouted, hopping in and noticing the scene. She was also wearing a large gift package around her body. Swim fins, big sunglasses, and carrying a small amount of balloons. Aw, I miss cheering on Trixie. Sorry,
said Trixie, completely confused and bewildered.
It's fine, so long as you're happy,
said Pinky, pulling off her costume as one solid piece and throwing it away.
So, now what do? We need a plot resolution.
That's a good question, said Twilight, thinking about it. Trixie may be feeling better, and not every pony in town hates her, but it's still the matter of fixing her public image. Trixie sighed, looking down miserably.
And Trixie still failed in every attempt at it, and every attempt to get a job.
Twilight nodded, the group looking thoughtful.
I know. This reminds me of what happened with me at Winter Wrap-Up,
Twilight exclaimed, a light bulb literally burning above her head. As he looked behind her to find Spike on her back, replacing said light bulb. Sorry, bulb was burnt out, Spike replied, hopping down. Twilight turned to Trixie. Trixie, during Winter Wrap-Up, I failed catastrophically at everything I tried.
That sounds familiar,
said Trixie in a shaky, yet downtrodden tone.
Until I tried something I was good at. You mean magic? Nope! Organization!
God, I love you, Twilight. Trixie blinked.
Okay, but what does this have to do with Trixie's predicament?
Trixie, you're failing because you're doing everything except your actual talent. We haven't once tried the things you're really good at. Twilight exclaimed, ideas forming. Trixie shook her head.
Oh, wonderful idea, Twilight. But in case you haven't noticed, the last time I put on a magic show in Ponyville was what started this whole mess.
I'm not talking about a magic show, the unicorn replied. This got several confused looks. Twi, are you that her special talent? asked Applejack, raising an eyebrow. No, stage magic is her special talent, said Twilight. There's other things you can use it for. Things she has used it for. Trixie blinked.
Trixie doesn't follow.
Listen, said Twilight seriously. What part of your original act or do your mark did the best? Trixie looked thoughtful to guess.
The story about the Timberwolves.
And you were amazing when you told me about your grandmother's trick. And when you told me and the Crusaders about your cutie mark story. Twilight replied. So, you saying you think Trixie should tell a story to fix things? Asked Applejack, looking somewhat confused. Not just any story. Be the narrator for a play, said Twilight.
That's a brilliant idea,
Meredith said.
You can toss a mission, and all the profits can go to the ponies who were hurt by the Ursa.
Trixie looked cautious.
Well, Trixie is decent at telling stories. But Trixie was told doing public service were forbidden to use magic while doing so.
Applejack blinked and looked sympathetic. Sugar Cube, sorry to say, but I think some pony was pulling your leg.
What?
Trixie, I've practically memorized Ponyville's law book, and that law doesn't exist. Twilight replied, looking equally confused. Yeah, the only time unicorns can't use their magic in Ponyville is during rain to wrap up. And that's tradition more than anything. Looks like some pony will grudge on you fainting some horse apples. Trixie sighed.
Why is Trixie not surprised?
She replied in a stinky tone.
Okay, that's settled. What about the story itself?
That's a good question, said Twilight, thinking about it, looking at her wall of books. It should be one you know well.
What about that old police tale about the police who stopped that evil centaur, T-Rex?
Asked Rainbow Dash, looking excited.
My mom used to read me that one all the time when I was a kid.
Mine too, Twilight replied, remembering finally.
My grandpa taught me how to make oatmeal.
Pinky exclaimed, looking straight looks.
Oh, yes, he also told me that story.
Oh, yeah. My mom told me too, said Applejack, looking rather sad for some reason. There's all agreement. They all heard it.
As did Trixie's grandmother. Trixie added, it'd certainly be a fan favorite. And it has action, adventure, an interesting story. But even if Trixie does the narrations and special effects, we still need actors.
Twilight smiled. You got 6 right here. Make that 7, Spike added, smiling.
8,
Derpy added, reminding every pony she was there, with Dinky and Pipsqueak. And looking all kinds of adorable. Trixie smiled, tears in her eyes.
Thank you. But what's stopping Trixie from being chased off stage before she can even begin? Again. Trixie, the only thing that can stop you is you, darling. Rarity replied seriously. A bully can only get to you if you let them. Fluttershy and Rainbow nodded as well. Trixie looked thoughtfully about it, then nodded. Alright, let's do it. Rainbow Dash stepped forward. Alright, so we're all agreed. Twilight, can you, Fluttershy, and Rarity bring the Cuban Crusaders to my house later tonight? Before the show? It's kind of important. The three bears blinked and looked at one another. Sure, I guess. Alright, Rainbow Dash, what seems to be the matter? Asked Rarity. She, Twilight, Applebloom, and Sleebell standing in Rainbow's living room, thanks to Twilight's cloud-walking spell. Fluttershy flew Scootaloo in, and they joined in. Rainbow Dash constantly looked out her windows, making sure no one was there. Then motioned for the others to follow her and lead her out to the roof. Alright. Man, Trixie's right. Doing that arm rolling thing is cool. She said, looking around again. It was a cloudy night, but no one in sight. Me and the girls think someone's trying to ruin Trixie on purpose. What? Asked Twilight, Rarity, and Fluttershy, all looking at each other in shock. Show 'em, said Rainbow Dash to the three fillies. Applebloom handed the pictures to Twilight, and looked over it and then gave a gasp. That beehive. There's no connection to another branch. Rainbow Dash died. Exactly. But couldn't the picture caught it mid-fun? Asked Rarity, skeptical. Does he think it's weird that everything Trixie has tried today failed? She fell off a ladder for no reason at all? She's not that clumsy, and the ladder wasn't going anywhere. Rainbow Dash pointed out. It's probably one of the townspeople with grunts on her. Alright, let's assume you're right, Twilight said, serious. The thought at some point was that intentionally hurting Trixie made her furious. She was still rational. What do you think is going to happen next? I think they'll try to ruin Trixie's performance tonight, the loyal Pegasus said. We're gonna stop them. The three mares looked at each other, then Rainbow Dash. How do you propose we do that? Asked Rarity. Alright, here's the plan. Spot brought Checker a flyer as he waited outside the library to see where Trixie was going next. Helping Hoof holding an umbrella over her as it rained. Checker looked over it quickly. Charity performance at 9 p.m. tonight. Presenting Rescue at Midnight Castle. A classic pony tale performed by local ponies. All proceeds go to those who were harmed by the Ursa Meyer attack on Ponyville. Checker read, then gave a cold chuckle. So, that's her plan. Okay, boys, we've got a play to ruin. Just, I'll let you know, I'm this close to singing, so they say at the end of this. This close.